I've been getting some questions on Instagram and other platforms about how I do retro anime screenshots, so that's what this video is about. This covers a lot of different parts of it, so look in the description and there'll kind of be like a table of contents that you could skip to what you need. Along with those will be the apps I use to make a screenshot. So when someone says like an old anime style, it could really mean anything because there are so many different types of old anime. You can see how like Slayers varies, for example, from Cowboy Bebop. The styles are really different. So kind of when you want to do an old anime screenshot, pick one and run with it. But there are some components that seem to appear a lot in all these old animes. Like there's like usually like a block of black color or something underneath the neck for shadow or somewhere else. And like the little blush marks are usually black lines instead. So just things to keep in mind. Unfortunately, I don't have a kind of line art process of the art in the thumbnail, but I do have one of one of my first old anime screenshots. This is the one I'm showing right now. This is done in Adobe Illustrator. You can basically do this in any program. The effects that come later is something that is put in a separate program. It's not in a particular art program. So that's that. I'm talking about a little about the coloring process now. You can basically choose any color is what I want to say because that's what I usually do. But usually when you pull from an older, like actual old anime screenshot, not like a fake one or whatever, you kind of get more grayish type of color. And I think you can either just pull that from the photo or you can just pull a gray overlay over it, or sometimes the noise takes care of that itself. So it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. This also depends on a style thing. As you can see, like Outlaw Star, for example, their colors are a lot more, I wouldn't say brighter, but they're a lot heavier than like say Sailor Moon's colors. So just keep that in mind as you work along and choose colors according to what you want your final shot to look like. Another thing to watch out for when you're working with old anime screenshot is how much detail you want to put into it. So just think about it. As an animator, if you were sitting down and you're working with thousands of frames ahead of you, what detail would you not think was necessary to include into something? And maybe you wouldn't include that. But then again, this varies on style, because there are some really detailed old retro anime styles. But some of them aren't, so just keep that in mind when you work and do it accordingly. Also, the same thing goes with shading. I usually just go over with one shade. There's no kind of gradient in anything. I think in some animes, like in some specific screenshots, you can argue that there is gradient, but as a general rule, I don't really use it. However, you can, go ham, do whatever you want, because it's your screenshot and your style. Like, this is just how I do it, so. Line art usually is pretty clean, and this goes for most screenshots, not just old anime screenshots. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult doing background or like concrete objects like that computer. So I traced a computer because it was not going to happen. But what I advise for this, instead of using I use the rectangle tool to draw the computer. But instead of using like the rectangle tool, just turn on your line correction really high and go with that. Okay, here's the effects part. I do my little type noise thing in Procreate because I bought Procreate and I hardly use it, so I thought I might as well use the noise thing in Procreate. Don't buy Procreate just for this 90s anime effects thing. I'm sure there's tons of apps that can add noise. I'll leave those in the description. But I think noise is a really crucial part to getting that old anime effect. Sorry. I usually don't go over 30% when adding noise, unless I really screwed up, then I add more noise. But as a general rule, I use from 15 to 30% of noise. Now we move over to Pixlr, where we're taking that photo we just adjusted with noise, and we're first using double exposure to kind of layer it over and kind of move it up to get that VHS line. I don't actually know what it is, I just see it a lot in old anime screenshots. But that's what we're moving it up, so it kind of, the part of it shifts right or shifts left or whatever, but you can see a line. Now go to the more brightly colored filters, hit atomic. Save the photo in atomic and then hit undo so you no longer have the atomic filter on. It's just the normal photo that has been shifted up or whatever. Now go back to double exposure and add that filtered photo in. Turn the opacity way down and shift that photo over a little bit and you can get that kind of line effect. I usually don't go over like 10. As you can see, you can really adjust it to however you want, but I usually never go over 10 unless, again, I really screwed up and I need something to distract it. But my go-to is normally 4 through 9. You can make this effect really subtle or you can make it really obvious, whatever you want. And so here we're moving into the last stage. This is optional, but if you do want text, this is how I do text. I go into Phonto. Phonto is a great app, it's free, and they have tons of fonts, lots of them. I use Helvetica or any type of basic font you would see anywhere, not Times New Roman, don't use Times New Roman, but kind of any basic font you would see in a subtitle, basically. And I choose a yellow. You don't have to choose yellow, but I usually go with yellow. Go with the yellow color, go to style, and then I'll hit stroke, and then I'll make the stroke black. Usually, actually, you should probably make it black. And then I'll turn it up to like usually an 11 or a 13. It kind of usually is over 10. You don't have to do it this way, but this is, I think, the most common way. Whenever you saw old anime subtitles in your childhood, go with that. So that's it. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I'll try to answer it there. Hey, if you end up using this tutorial, tag me. I'm at kanon.blast at Instagram, or put in the comments, link it to me. I'd love to see it. Or if you found a different way to do it, I'd really love to know as well. You found a better way, tell me. Any other criticisms or comments or tips, hit me up. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks for giving me your time. Really appreciate it. Bless y'all.